Good day. It is June the 18th, and today we're continuing Judges 9, doing verses 38 to 41. This is a long book, isn't it? And Proverbs 18. Remember, or a long chapter anyway. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. To begin, Judges 9, starting on verse 38. Then Zebul turned on him and asked, "Now where is that big mouth of yours? Wasn't it you that said, 'Who is Abimelech, and why should we be his servants?' The men you mocked are right outside the city. Go out and fight them." 39. So Gael led the leading citizens of Shechem in a battle against Abimelech. 40. But Abimelech chased him, and many of his Shechem's men were wounded and fell along the road as they retreated to the city gate. 41. Abimelech returned to Armiah, and Zebul drove Gael and his brothers out to Shechem. So Gael, Gaal, Gaal, said, "Hey, why do we need to obey Abimelech? You know, he's not here, and why should we obey his deputy? He's not very strong. He didn't have any forces there. So if Abimelech wants his city back, let him come get it." 38. Then Zebul turned on him and asked him, "Now, where is that big mouth of yours? Wasn't it you that said, 'Who is Abimelech, and why should we be his servants?' The men you mocked are right outside the city. Go out and fight them." Zebul was Abimelech's deputy, and he had tricked him, and he says, "You got a big mouth? There they are. Go fight them." 39. So Gaal led the leading citizens of Shechem in a battle against Abimelech. So he said, "All right, I'll go out and fight them." 40. But Abimelech chased him, and many of Shechem's men were wounded and fell along the road as they retreated to the city gate. It's actually a large building around the city gate. You know, it's a kind of little fortress in itself. 41. Abimelech returned to Armiah, and Zebul drove Gaal and his brothers out of Shechem. And the troublemakers were Abimelech's troublemakers, I should say, the ones who didn't like Abimelech, were driven out, and Abimelech went home. Proverbs 18. He that separateth himself seeketh his own desire, and snarleth against all sound wisdom. It's like he's going, "I'm going to do it myself, my way to highway. I'll do it. I don't want anyone else to get the credit," and he won't listen to anyone. 2. A fool has no delight in understanding, only that his heart may lay itself bare. 3. When the wicked cometh, there cometh also contempt, and with ignominy, reproach. 4. The words of a man's mouth are as deep water, and a flowing brook, a fountain of wisdom. 5. It is not good to respect the person of the wicked. In other words, if he's wicked, he's wicked. It doesn't matter if he's your brother, father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, president, mayor, whatever. It doesn't matter. If they're wicked, they're wicked. So as to turn aside the righteous in judgment. Can't do that at the expense of the righteous. 6. A fool's lips enters into contention, and his mouth calls for strokes. A smart mouth will get you beat. 7. A fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are the snare of his soul. He blabs too much, tells you too much, it gets in trouble. Yeah. There'd be a lot less trouble in the world if people kept their mouth shut. 8. The words of a whisperer is dainty morsels, as they go down in the innermost parts of the belly. 9. Even one that slackens his work is brother to him that is destroyer. Shoddy work is destroyed materials, and might not have done it. 10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it, and are set up on high. God will protect you if you go to him. He swears this by his name, which is his character. 11. A rich man's wealth is a strong city, and a high wall his own conceit. He depends on wealth and himself. He's got a big ego. He thinks he can handle anything. 12. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor goes humility. 13. He that giveth an answer before he heareth is folly and confusion unto him. He doesn't listen to both sides or all sides of an argument, doesn't look at the evidence or anything. He just spouts out an answer. 12. The spirit of man will sustain his infirmity, but a broken spirit who can bear. 15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. 16. A man's gift makes room for him, and bringeth him before great men. 17. He that pleases his cause first seems just, but his neighbor comes out and searches him out. Yeah, the first argument, the first side you hear does sound reasonable. I remember when I was on a jury, the prosecutor presented their case, said, yeah, that sounds right. Then the defense came up and says, maybe the prosecutor wasn't so right after all. 18. The law causes strife to cease, and parteth asunder the contentions. 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. 20. A man's belly should be filled with the fruit of his mouth. In other words, as he talks, so shall he get. With the increase of his lips, he shall be satisfied. 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that indulge it shall eat the fruit thereof. The tongue is very powerful. It can bring life or death. It can bring harm or healing. It can bring health or disease. It can bring hope or despair. And 22. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a great good, and obtaineth favor of Yahweh. Yes, they can. 23. The poor useth entreaties, but the rich answers roughly, impudently. And 24. There are friends that one has to the one whom hurt, but there's a friend that sticks closer to the brother. There's some friends that's like that. Friends like these, who needs enemies? And then there's Jesus, who will stick closer to you than a brother. I hope you've been blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.